Hello friends, welcome back to another edition of This Week on Blu-ray and DVD. I'm your host today, Thor Dykow, as always, and we'll start off with a big budget spectacle courtesy of Ridley Scott, and this is Christian Bale playing the title role of Moses in the biblical epic Exodus, Gods and Kings, and this was a multi-million-dollar hit, and if anyone knows how to craft one of these eye-popping spectacles, it is Ridley Scott. Take a look.
Come on, proceed.
Miriam, I'm going to ask you again, and if your answer is again no, I apologize for what happens next. Are you his sister?
No.
Yes!
There you go. Every time Christian Bale yells something, I always think of him in Batman. This movie's got a pretty weak script, I have to say, so the dialogue is very cringeworthy, but, I mean, look at it. Gorgeous, sumptuous visuals, and Ridley Scott and his production team spared no expense here. There's some thrilling battles, some great chase sequences, and everything you want to expect in terms of eye candy and thrills when it comes to these big-budget, historical, biblical epics. Great cast in this one as well. You saw Joel Edgerton as Ramses there, Sigourney Weaver, Aaron Paul, Ben Kingsley, and it's the one man's daring courage story to take on a mighty empire. And the Blu-ray has some great behind-the-scenes bonus materials. You go behind the scenes with the amazing retelling of this historical tale. And Keepers of the Covenant documentary explains how Ridley Scott brought ancient Egypt back to life with hours. They boast 5 hours of special features on the Blu-ray 3D Collector's Edition. So if you like biblical epics, this one might be right up your alley. All right, next we're talking comedy with Chris Rock. This is a very well-written, smart comedy where he plays a former stand-up actor, a former stand-up comedian who's an actor as well, and he's on the eve of marrying his self-absorbed reality TV star fiance, but he meets up with a mysterious and charming journalist played by Rosario Dawson. Take a look.
Do you think the wedding is hurting me?
Are you kidding me? Listen, Andre, the wedding is the best thing that you got going right now. And let's be honest, Andre, if this thing flops, we could be talking Dancing with the Stars, man.
Dancing with the stars?
Yes, Dancing with the Stars. That's where you're at right now. Andre, all these people want to do is follow you around for one day. Let them follow you around.
You know, if I get the word out, this movie could still be a big hit. It could be like a Haitian Django.
If you say so. Andre,
yeah, very subversive, very well written, this film. And it's a bit satirical in parts, too. And Chris Rock sort of playing a version of himself, which I liked. And it's chock full of guest stars and cameos. And J.B. Smoove is great in it. Kevin Hart, Cedric the Entertainer, Whoopi Goldberg, Tracy Morgan. Some other ones that I don't want to give away as well. And the Blu-ray features include Chris Rock and J.B. Smoove doing commentary, plus 45 minutes of great features, including his stand-up outtakes, deleted scenes, and top 5 moments not seen in the film, and more. Scenes like this are really reminiscent of like what Richard Linklater did in the Before movies, and I think Chris Rock was taking a page from those with those long shots of dialogue, and he really wanted to emphasize the great screenplay. So this movie pays a lot of attention to dialogue and character, and that's what I liked about it. The jokes were actually very intelligent. It didn't rely on slapstick or rude humor, although it does have a lot of coarse language. Very witty stuff, and one of the funniest movies of last year, so you can get top 5 right now on Blu-ray or DVD. Chris Rock leading the way there. All right, Something for the Families is up next, and we're talking the third and final installment in Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. And this is bringing Ben Stiller and the whole gang back, including Robin Williams in his last on-screen role. But in this one, they travel to London to save the magic that brings the museum exhibits to life. Take a look.
Larry, the others felt perhaps we could use some help. The others?
Lawrence, I couldn't sit idly by. Our very survival is at stake.
All right. Hey, Teddy. Good. Good man having a crisis.
Tilla. Okay, a little muscle.
Hi, Larry.
That is a deceptively large box.
Obviously,
there you go. This is some of the gags you're going to get. The family's going to enjoy this one, and the cast, as you see, Rob Williams there, very poignant, along with Owen Wilson, Rebel Wilson, and Ricky Gervais for a final fun-filled night at the museum, and they embark on all kinds of great adventures. You know, this is great for the family, too, because the kids, they learn to appreciate artifacts and history and going to museums. So if anything, after you watch the movie, you may have the little ones keen and fired up about learning more about these kind of things, and maybe they won't think museums are boring after all. And that's why I like this franchise. franchise because it encourages those kinds of things. Great bonus features as well. You see how Ben Stiller got into character. Behind the scenes look at the British Museum to learn how the film's iconic fight scene inside the painting came to life. And the Blu-ray comes with a bonus digital HD movie. So you get an HD version of Night in the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, but you get a bonus movie as well, Battle of the Smithsonian. There you go, something for everyone. We'll keep the family train going with Penguins of Madagascar. And you might remember these guys from the Madagascar movies. They were always scene stealers. Well, now they have their own spin-off movie, and the children are going to be delighted about this one. Unfortunately, the plot of it wasn't all that meticulous, but it still had some great visual gags and some witty humor, thanks to a talented cast of vocal actors, including John Malkovich, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Ken Jeong from The Hangover. They're basically super spies. They join forces with the elite North Wind team to save the world, and it's got side-splitting, globe-trotting adventure for the whole family, as I say. And for a limited time, you can get 2 hopping penguin toys with the Penguins of Madagascar Easter Blu-ray DVD and digital pack, and that makes for the perfect gift for Easter baskets, just in time for the little kids. Beautifully animated, very visually inventive. As I say, the story wasn't always that great, but full of great gags and great vocal talents there as well. And still on the family train, bit of a theme this week, Annie. We're talking about the remake, of course, with Quvenzhané Wallis, and this has a great cast behind it as well, with Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz, and the always lovely Rose Byrne. This one, though, kind of a disaster. I don't know why they decided to remake Annie, but Jamie Foxx plays New York City billionaire Will Stacks, who takes in a foster youngster to boost his image while campaigning for mayor. Quvenzhané is the title role here as the upbeat foster kid originally left with their parents with the promise they'd be back someday. So you can experience the hard knock life in this one. It was a bit cynical and updated at times, not to my liking. I would stick with the original. You got some featurettes on the Blu-ray with a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the film and some commentary from the director, but my money is on the original. I would give this one a big pass. And we probably saved the worst for last, unfortunately. A movie that was barely in theaters but has 2 amazing actors in it. We're talking about Serena, and this one you really want to avoid. Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. You think the 2 of them would be sizzling up the screen because it's the 3rd time that they're paired in a movie together. This is a period piece set in the 20s. Bradley Cooper plays George Pemberton. He's a wealthy lumber baron. Takes Jennifer Lawrence as his bride. Things seem to be going well. Tragedy strikes. There's a little bit of a mystery here as they go and sort of set up town in this small logging community. The script is terrible. It's full of cliches. The character motivations are all over the map. It just gets wildly outrageous as the plot moves along, and really kind of all comes to a head at the final closing moments of the film, where it just sort of descends into chaos and makes no sense at all. So unfortunately, this was a total pass, and it's directed by Susanna Bier, who is a, normally does foreign films, and I don't know if there was something lost in translation with this film, but it was a disaster from, the first 50 minutes are good, they kind of hooked me in, and then it just fell apart at the seams. So despite the on-screen presence and the draw of Cooper and Lawrence, you don't want to watch Serena, unfortunately. That's my dud of the week. That's it, guys. Enough of that. I'm Thor Dykow. It's this week on Blu-ray and DVD. Don't forget, you can check me out on Twitter at Thor Dykow. Let me know what you thought of these titles and any other recommendations. We'll see you next week on breakfasttelevision.ca.